Hi people, welcome to the run test, and if you want to know how the New Balance SC Trainer V3 compares to the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4, you're in the right place. In this video we are going to tease out the design differences, we're going to compare the performance and generally pitch these two super trainers against each other to help you choose which shoe might suit you best. We'll also reveal where we'd spend our money if it was up to us. So let's get into it in the New Balance SC Trainer V3 versus the Saucony Endorphin Speed head to head. Fundamentals first, then starting with the stack height. And the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4 packs 36mm in the heel, 28 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop. The New Balance SC Trainer V3 has a bigger wedge with 40mm in the heel and 34mm in the forefoot for a lower 6mm drop. In a UK men's 9, the Speed 4 tips the scales at 255 grams or 9 ounces. The SC Trainer V3 comes in at 9.9 ounces or 282 grams. On price, the Speed 4 RRP is £180 in the UK or $170 in the US. The SC Trainer V3 lands at an eye-watering £230 in the UK. That's a whopping chunk pricier here, but just $10 more expensive in the US at $180. Let's give you a quick shoe comparison, starting with the midsoles. The Speed 4 midsole features what now looks like a medium stack when you look at shoes that have come along since its launch. It uses Power Run PB Pebax foam in tandem with a winged nylon plate and Saucony's trademark Speed Roll rockered shaping. The nylon plate is there to add stability, rigidity and a bit of forefoot flexibility. It also sits slightly lower in the midsole, so there's more foam directly underfoot. The SC Trainer has a fuel cell midsole, a reformulated EVA PBA blend that now carries 20% PBA. It's the same foam that you'll find in the New Balance Rebel V4. The new carbon plate is now forked to reduce weight and increase the flexibility for a more natural feel underfoot. There's also the New Balance Energy Arc, a trench down the middle of the midsole that's designed basically to allow the carbon plate to flatten on landings and give more spring back on toe off. The New Balance SC Trainer has a wider forefoot platform, but it's narrower in the heel than the Speed 4. Up top, the Endorphin Speed 4 has a zonal mesh upper with a light, airy, perforated design and plenty of flex in the toe box. The New Balance SC Trainer V3 has an engineered mesh upper with New Balance's Phantom Fit technology. That's the same kind of upper fit technology that helps wrap. It's the same that you'll get on the New Balance SC Elite V4. The New Balance uppers are marginally thicker than the Speed 4. The heel collars on both shoes are medium padded. There's more padding at the top of the back of the heel in the SC Trainer, and the internal heel counters rise slightly higher up here than you get in the Speed 4. Now both tongues are gusseted and medium padded. The Speed 4's tongue is notably more flimsy, it's a bit more knitted. It doesn't wrap the top of the foot quite as well as the SC Trainer V3. Now if you flip them over, they both have generous coverings of outsole rub with large sections covering the whole forefoot and sections in the troublesome heel areas. The New Balance SC Trainer V3 definitely has a thicker protective layer, but the grip on both is good for the needs of a faster daily shoe. So let's have a quick word on fitting these two. So I'm going to come to it later, but they're really nice and roomy, good disappearing fit overall, really roomy toe boxes. Let's have a look at the New Balance SC Trainer V3 first. I've gone half a size up in this shoe as recommended by New Balance, and I've got plenty of length in the toe box, maybe border on even just a little bit too much. There's lots and lots of space and room up top in this toe box here, lots of wiggle room. The uppers flex nicely, there's no pinching on the toe knuckles, the uppers just hold securely there, feel really nice against the foot. I had to fiddle a bit, but once I did get good lockdown across the midfoot, and that I had to work a bit to make sure I got kind of secure heel hold here. There's a bit of flex in the heels, and I did have some slipping initially until I managed to dial in that lacing really well. The nice padded tongues take the lace pinch away. And overall, half a size up, I think I'm kind of happy with the shoe. I think if I went half a size down, it might be too snug. And it does make for a roomy fit, but I quite like that, particularly in a shoe I think you're going to want to go and use for longer cruising efforts overall. If you like it a bit more dialed in and race fit, maybe you want to go in your regular size. When it comes to the Speed 4, this is a dreamy shoe. I absolutely love the fit of this, the way that it holds, it's nice and secure, great midfoot lockdown, plenty roomy toe box. Not quite as roomy as the SC Trainer V3, but there's good length towards the end. I find these kind of heels hold really, really nicely. Just nice balance in the padding of both the heel collars and the tongues. I find it really easy just to get this shoe in place and running right, and I recommend going true to size in the Speed 4. It's a bit more race fit It's not fully kind of Mac X2 tight and snug race fit, but it is a bit more locked in than the SC Trainer V3. But overall, yeah, maybe look, if you want a bit more length, go half a size up in the SC Trainer V3. Speed 4, I'd recommend going true to size.
So it comes to the fit of the Endorphin Speed 4 and the SC Trainer V3. I've actually tried two sizes of the Saucony. I've tried a UK 9 and a UK 8.5. So the UK 9 is obviously the same size as the New Balance in the UK sizing, and then the UK 8.5 is a US 9.5, which is the same size as New Balance in the US sizing. So I think I'm going to go with that, the US sizing, because it's a little bit more consistent, I would say, across the board than UK sizing can be. And in that size, which is, you know, a normal size for me, I tend to be a US 9.5 or a 10, but they fit me very well. I've got kind of a similar amount of room in both shoes. I'd say you've got a slightly wider toe box with the New Balance SC Trainer V3. It's a reasonably, you know, kind of lock dialed in fit around the toes. I probably could have looked at a US 10 in both shoes because I am kind of in between those sizes, but I was very happy in the 9.5. So I would say generally stick with your normal size overall. I didn't have any problems with the heels on either shoe. I had good secure lockdown in the midfoot and heel, and I know the New Balance has been a bit of a problem for some people, but I had no concerns at all. Same with the Saucony. So overall, I would say to stick to your normal running shoe size. Maybe if you're in the UK, have a look at US sizing because that might be an easier way to compare with these brands.
Now in testing, I've run many miles in the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4, and those of you who watch the channel regularly will know that this is one of my favourite all-time shoes. All through the generations of the Speed, I've really enjoyed them. I've run hundreds of miles in it, including marathons and longer. I've run considerably less in the New Balance SC Trainer V3, not had it for as long. The longest I've run in this is 10 miles, done about 2 hours on feet, but I've used both of these shoes across a range of paces from easy to all out. Most of that has been on the road. So that's how I've managed to compare them. Now, if I'm summarising each shoe quickly, for me the Speed 4 is one of the best all-round the running shoes going. It offers a lively cushioned ride that feels light and full of energy without any harshness or fussy business. It's a shoe that feels immediately natural on the foot with all the reliable comfort of the Ride 17, but I think a propulsive ride that's more like the Endorphin Pro. I think the Speed 4 is a shoe that you can rock back and cruise in, but it's also built to perform when you kick up through the gears and really get those paces going. That's where the midsole, the rocker and that nylon plate really kick in and come to life for an energetic and fun ride. If someone told me I was only allowed to buy one shoe to do all of my training and racing for a marathon, I would happily make that the Speed 4. At least it would be high on my shortlist. Now the New Balance SC Trainer V3 is a new one for me. I hadn't run in the first two generations of the shoe, and I think it's a very accomplished daily trainer with a decent level of cushioning that's not too soft. There's plenty of controlled energy here for eating up miles on longer runs. There's lots of versatility here too in this shoe. And I think it'd be a good weapon like the Speed 4 in anyone's marathon training lineup. Now to really tease out the differences between these two shoes, I also did a side-by-side mile where I had one shoe on each foot for a mile, and here is what I found. So I've just done a side-by-side mile. I've got the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4 on the left foot. I've got the New Balance SC Trainer V3 on the right foot. There's a huge difference here in terms of the way the ride feels. Both of them very roomy shoes on the foot, probably the New Balance SC Trainer V3, a little bit roomier if you're going half a size up like I have. That's not to say that both these have ample room in the toe box. They're good shoes for long hauling from that point of view. Nice, airy, flexible uppers, plenty of wiggle room. They feel comfortable, good lockdown generally. The Speed 4 has a bit more security in the heel, I find, than the SC Trainer V3, which I had to work quite a lot to get it laced down right, to get that good heel hold. Once I got the laces fixed in, managed to keep that nice and tight from then on in, but it did take a bit of fussing. I think the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4 just feels nice and natural on the foot. Both of them good disappearing shoes though. When you put them on, they kind of vanish into the background and you can just get on with business. Now when it comes to the ride underfoot, the big difference here is now how direct by comparison the Speed 4 feels. That stack, just you feel the road a lot more coming through. You're more connected, it's more responsive and more precise and more controlled, I think, overall. And you've got a bit more bounce and a bit more softness in the SC Trainer V3. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You've got a lot more cushioning in the SC Trainer V3, and the ride is more bounce and energy from that foam, whereas I think you've got more kind of responsive rocker coming through from the Speed 4, and it just feels a lot more direct. It just feels more minimal now by comparison, which it never did really when we first put it on the Speed 4, I didn't think. Yes, it was direct, yes, it was responsive, but you know, the difference here in how much road it's coming out through compared to the stack you've got in the SC Trainer V3 is really quite pronounced. Definitely a lot more so than something like the SC Trainer V3 versus the Mac X2. That probably makes the Trainer V3 a shoe that you're more likely to enjoy for much longer cruising runs if you like a bit more cushion in the shoe than you will do the Speed 4. I personally quite like the ground contact feel and that connection that you get in the Speed 4 and that control. There's a good stability to the Speed 4. There's maybe a little bit less so in the SC Trainer V3. It's not an unstable shoe because you've got that massive wide platform, but I think the Speed 4 just feels a bit more reliable because you're actually just feeling that ground coming up through. Now, if you're a bit more of a heel striker or a heel lander, I think you're going to get more protection back into the SC Trainer V3 than you will do from the Speed 4 as well. If you're a heavier runner as well, I think the SC Trainer V3 is probably going to protect you a bit more, particularly over those longer haul cruising miles. The way that I probably split these shoes now is that I would pick up the Speed 4 to go and do much more of my kind of faster all-out speed sessions, although it is a super versatile shoe that can handle everything. That's the way I'd go with that in comparison to the SC Trainer V3, which feels much better at those kind of slower up to kind of a bit beyond mid pace runs. It's a really good cruiser. It's probably not my favorite for going to really kind of lighter weight, faster stuff that you want to do. The Hoka Mach X2 or the Speed 4 feel better for that. Yeah, Speed 4 probably feels lighter, it feels like less shoe on the foot. So if you like that more minimal, bit more traditional kind of feel, then I think you're going to like the Speed 4. If you like it a bit more cushioned, a bit more bouncy, with a good bit of energy, then I think the SC Trainer V3 is probably going to be the shoe for you.
On to the run test, and I've done a lot of running in both of these shoes over the course of this year so far. I've actually used two different Speed 4s. Like I mentioned, I've done about 100k in total across the two of them. I've done about 110k in the New Balance SC Trainer V3 of late, using it for a lot of marathon training. Speed 4 was a shoe we tested first, and for me it delivers kind of similar benefits as you've had from the Endorphin Speed line from the very first model. You've got, I think, a slightly squishier heel on this shoe and maybe a slightly wider design, but overall for me it still stands up as an incredibly versatile shoe that excels for fast training, but you can use for lots of other stuff as well. Main feeling you get from it is just a very nimble, lightweight feel, and that rocker just always has really worked for me, the Speed Roll rocker. It just really feels like it's helping me flow through my running, and at whatever speed I'm working at, it just feels like a very natural shoe to run in, and it really has quite a lot of top end speed. Like, it doesn't feel the most kind of wow on the foot. You're not got a big sink in and bounce and explosive bounce, but it just really helps me turn my feet over, and I find I can run, at my race paces in this shoe quite comfortably. I do think it's one that you could stand in for a full race day shoe if you're not really going for the all out for very expensive carbon shoes. The Speed 4 I think is a pretty impressive racer and a great versatile trainer as well. Downside for me is it's a bit thin under the forefoot, so it hasn't got the stack height of lots of shoes out there these days, especially under the forefoot, and I do start to feel a little bit of discomfort there over the course of long runs sometimes, especially harder long runs, as a heel striker kind of snaps through. I do put quite a lot of force into that area of the shoe, and sometimes it doesn't feel quite as comfortable as shoes that have loads of foam under the forefoot, one of which would be the New Balance. Wasn't a huge fan of the shoe out of the gate, I would say. It felt a bit stiff and not that impressive on my first run, but it has broken in. It's got a bit softer, a bit bouncier, and overall I really liked it of late as a marathon training shoe in particular. It's definitely a shoe that I feel really excels when it comes to longer runs, longer sessions. It can hoover up a lot of that stuff in marathon training, and that's what I've been using it for over the past couple of weeks as part of my kind of Valencia marathon build. I've done a double workout day doing both workouts in the shoe. I've done a longer workout doing 4 times 4k reps and an easy to steady 15 miler, and all of those kind of faster sections in those runs have been done at not flat out paces like I might have got towards my marathon pace, but I've not been doing really all out intervals in the shoe, and I think that's where it's best, like those easy to steady paces, those kind of maybe marathon pace sections for short stints of runs. It works with those really well. It doesn't feel as nimble and fast as the Speed 4 when you really are pushing it and going very fast, but it's very comfortable to control a fast pace in this shoe, and it can also do easy runs very well as well. So I do think it's a really versatile shoe for those kind of longer distance runners focusing on lots of mileage, doing lots of long runs with faster sections, but not necessarily going and smashing out 10 times 4 at the track or anything like that. That scenario, I think the Speed 4 has a bit of an edge, because I do think it can do all the runs I've talked about doing in the SC Trainer V3, but then does have a bit more top end speed. Do you think you are getting a bit more comfort though in the SC Trainer V3 for long runs, especially under the forefoot? Did do a short run wearing both shoes at the same time, and the Speed 4 certainly feels nimbler to me and lighter, and when I'm running in the shoe it almost feels like I'm kind of just skipping along the ground, just touching it, kissing it and moving on. It doesn't really feel like I'm having a huge amount of ground contact or anything like that. I don't think it's changing my stride or anything like that. I'm sure I'm getting the same ground contact stats with both shoes, but it really does feel like I'm just moving very well and very light footed in this shoe, and it feels narrower and nimbler and all round a bit faster than the SC Trainer, which feels much more that you're pushing into that foam and getting a nice amount of bounce back. It feels really cruisy, it feels like it's helping, it feels good, but it doesn't necessarily feel flat out fast. It feels more like a stable daily trainer with a bit of edge to it for those long runs, like I say, whereas the Speed 4 does feel a bit faster whilst having the comfort, I think, for daily runs as well.
These are both excellent tempo shoes, good cruisers for longer, faster efforts. If you live in the UK, it's hard to shake the fact though that the SC Trainer V3 is so damn pricey. No matter what tech is on board, £230 is a lot of money for a training shoe, even a super trainer. Now I get there's premium foam, carbon plate tech in this shoe, but as you're a runner who can race and train in the shoe, cancelling out the need for a pricey carbon shoe as well, I don't think you're going to get more run potential for your money than you will from the cheaper Endorphin Speed 4. If the SC Trainer V3 came in at £180 or £190, I think this would be a much closer call. But based on what you can do in both shoes, I think the Speed 4 offers the better value. If you're in the US, that picture changes somewhat because there's just a $10 difference between the prices of these two shoes. Then I think the choice comes down to whether you want a more compact, lower stack, precise shoe with more ground feel that feels more nimble, or if you want something that feels bigger on the foot with a bit more cushy feel, a wider platform that's probably a bit more protective when you're moving slower. For me, I still choose the form of the Speed 4, but I don't mind a more direct shoe in my running, even at my slower efforts. The only place where I think I choose the SC Trainer first is tackling a big road ultra like the Comrades Marathon or something like that.
Comes the verdict, the Endorphin Speed 4 is the better all-rounder for me. I think it can do all your easy stuff really well, but then has more of a top-end range than the New Balance SC Trainer V3. That said, I do think there'll be lots of runners who find the Endorphin Speed 4 a bit too lightweight and lacking in cushioning for easy runs, or maybe find it a bit unstable. I think with the SC Trainer V3 you are getting an uptick in comfort, stability, in general just a bit more support from the shoe, like you've got really noticeable sidewalls of foam and that kind of thing, and that will make it a better choice for some people who do find the Speed 4 a little bit too lightweight and speedy. I also have enjoyed it more when it comes to those long runs, things like easy to steady runs. I think it is a really good option for those. I do like doing those in the Speed 4 though, and like I say, I do think it has a bit more edge and versatility in terms of top end speed. I'd be much happier to go and do a race in the Endorphin Speed 4 than the SC Trainer V3. I think it's better for fast sessions as well. I will say though, the SC Trainer V3 could be a good race day model for people who don't want to go to a full carbon shoe and want a nice supportive and comfortable ride. I think it does provide that. But, I do think the Speed 4 is a faster shoe, and that's mostly what I'm focused on when it comes to racing. Speed 4 is also a cheaper shoe by miles in the UK, and then even by a little bit in the US as well. The UK price of the Trainer V3 kind of rules out of all these kind of verses in my mind, because it is so overpriced, but it will come down in sales, so that's why we're talking a lot about performance as well. But the Speed 4 is a bit cheaper. I do think it's the better shoe, so that's the one I'd go for.
So there you have it. That's our head-to-head between the New Balance SC Trainer V3 and the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4. I hope you found it useful. Drop us a like if you did. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we'd absolutely love it if you would do us the honour of hitting that button and then ringing the bell to find out when other reviews come onto the channel. If you want deeper dives into these two shoes, I'm going to put reviews of both of those up on the channel now. Go and get stuck into those. Otherwise, thank you very much for stopping by. And until next time, happy running, people.